So it's the first chapter, the story of village Palampur. Okay. So introduction to production activity, factors involved in production. So the new chapter from 9th standard economic book. Okay. Are you ready for economics? So Palampur is a fictional village. Fictional means what? An imaginary one. Okay. A fictional village that we would be referring to. Why we are referring it? To study production. Okay. Production implies producing as many goods and services as we need. So whatever is the requirement, we need to produce, we need to create, make, prepare that many goods. And this process is called as production. Now there are four. If you have to start a production, if you have to start a factory, then there are few things that has to be considered. Okay, few main factors that has to be considered while you set up a factory. First is the land, the natural resource, labor, the manual help. Third, the physical capital, that is the machines and tools used for production, and the capital, that is intellectual inputs. Means what? The brains have to be applied, how to use the machines, how to use the labor, what work has to be assigned to them, right? On which area or which land the factory has to be set up. So all this, the decision is of humans. So human capital, that is intellectual inputs. Okay, together known as factor of production. So land, labor, physical capital, and human capital together are known as factors of production. Remember this. This will be, this you have to refer for 10th standard. Okay, so remember this very thoroughly. Okay, so why do we require labor for production? Might some of you might think on this. If there are machines, why we require labor then? Why we require workers? So activities may require manual labor to get work done. So till now, hardly few factories do run on their own. The machines run on their own. But to make the machines run, someone need to start them. So that comes out to be worker, labor, the humans there, manual, right? So activities may require people as a resource of work the machinery. To work the machinery, as well as at times they have to they have to put something in the machine and then the machine processes, right? So both the things will require labor. Now we were talking about the physical capital. Now physical capital is further divided into fixed capital and working capital. Now we are going to see what is fixed capital and working capital. So fixed capital refers to the machines, tools which are not moving, okay, which are used for the production, which are involved in the production activity. Fixed since they are used for a longer duration. Okay, so working capital, as you can see, is a raw material and money that gets used up. Okay, periodically things move on, right? The raw material after processing goes away as a finished good and it is being used. So you have to buy more raw material. So the requirement as well as the money, once used, you have to get it again. But the fixed capital is like machines. The machines, though they depreciate or they are not frequently brought, the tools are not frequently brought. So such material which are not frequently bought, they are invested for a longer duration as no, are known as fixed capital, and the raw material and working which has to be renewed can be called as working capital. What might be the purpose of human capital then? As I said, the application of knowledge required to put together land, labor, and physical capital such that production yield a thing of utility. Means to have a maximum production in a small resource or to get more and more profit. What is required? Land, labor, physical capital. Do they do all things by their own? Yes, class, let us make it interactive. Of course not, isn't it? Some human, yeah. So someone needs to apply the brain. Someone needs to think like what land is suitable for a particular factory. Suppose it's a like furniture factory. Okay. So where should be the land? The land should be near the forest to lessen the time as well as the charges of transportation of goods. Right? Labor. Is labor available here? If you go for a hilly region or somewhere where the population is less, so you have to think on this factor, whole thing, the human capital, the physical capital, right? Physical capital means the machines and all. So which machines to be chosen, how they are going to get work, what will be the maintenance, is the time for maintenance. So all these things are taken into consideration by the human capital. The humans work on it, right? So that is the purpose of the human capital. That is why human capital is important. Okay, to make a or to utilize the things at the most. Okay, getting it? Agriculture is one of the main production activity in Palampur, but land under cultivation is fixed. Okay, so they are saying that this land can't be used for the factory because this is under cultivation, means they are going to grow crops on it. So that fixed land for the crop cannot be used. Okay, so there are conditions for that. Why do you think it is so? Why must it affect the crop production? You need to give the answer to this question, then only I'll move ahead. See the heading, land under cultivation is fixed for soil. Okay. Maybe any factory it may be. I didn't get the meaning. Okay. Fine. See, agriculture is one of the main production activity. Okay. So the main occupation in Palampur. So they give more importance to agriculture. So if we utilize the amount of land which is under cultivation, if we use it to set up a factory, what will happen? The production will get reduced. They will have less agricultural products with them as compared to the few months or a year back, right? Then what effect it will have on the production? As I said, that the production, crop production will be reduced. Though there are employment and good things coming up with the factory, what about their food, right? Some farmers might be small farmers who earn their living. Okay, means what? Who use their crops for their own consumption, for their own use, for their own cooking, right? So that will be hampered. That is why what they are saying, it's a fiction. Fictional means imaginary village where everything will be idle. Okay, so first they will think of the land. How much land is under cultivation? What is the barren land? Or which land is not being used for producing crop? That can be given for the factory. Okay. So in this way, land under cultivation is fixed. Okay. Got the answer? I've given the answer for these two questions. Got it? Okay. Since the land is fixed, cultivation of crops can be done in limited manner. What could be the way to increase number of crops grown on the same piece of land? So now the thing is like they have fixed the land. Now in the fixed land, so the land is limited. In that, how can they grow or get a maximum number of crops? So how is this possible? By shifting the crop, right? By taking two crops so that they can earn money, even though if there is a small piece of land, isn't it? Right? Getting it? Multiple cropping, what you can also see, where there is irrigation is possible. Okay? Or developing irrigation, farmers are able to take two or three crops. in a year. Waste practice, yeah, here it is. Waste practice to yield more crops from fixed land area under cultivation. Multiple cropping is one method where kharif and rabi crops are grown to maximize the utility of the land. The use of modern farming techniques and high yielding variety of seeds. So modern techniques have been used, like irrigation is facilitated. Then the plow, instead of having the primary tools, you're using modern techniques. Okay, and also using high yielding variety of seeds means what? The seeds are of such a quality that if you sow few seeds, they will give you multiple uh, grains. Okay, multiple, they grow in multiple. That is high yielding, means giving you much more better than whatever you have sowed. So high yielding variety of seeds. Now, how does it affect the land quality? So, do you think multiple cropping would be possible throughout India? A bit doubtful. Consistent water and electricity supply is required. Okay, the place where which lack these rely majorly on rainfall, and so multiple crop may not work. So multiple crops can be possible in the area where there is irrigation and electricity supply available. Okay, the places which do not have a regular or irrigation is not possible, or rain harvesting cannot be done, scanty rainfall is being experienced there, they have to depend only on the rainy season, only on the rainfall, right? So here the multiple cropping won't be working out. Land sustenance. What is sustenance, children? What do you mean by sustenance? Maintenance, okay. But here we take it as nourishment, land nourishment, okay. The minerals or the nutrients important for the land, okay. Modern farming techniques utilize chemical fertilizers and pesticides. How does that make the land quality suffer? So, extra excess using of this, the chemical fertilizers and pesticides will lower the quality of the land, okay. Thus, care must be taken of natural resources like land to ensure higher yield production. So the land has to be preserved indirectly. Okay. So this is all about today's PPT about the village of Palampur.
If you like our videos, do share them and subscribe to our channel. If you want awesome quizzes, write to us. Keep watching and keep learning with Walnut.